ASMR of Coda drinking water. Anywho, hello and welcome to KamenRider Blackman. And today, by special request, we will be talking about Dark Kamen Riders. A concept in Kamen Rider that honestly started back in the 80s, like the late 80s, with Shadow Moon from Black. But it took off more in Heisei. I mean early Heisei, with the Project G4 movie. But Dark Riders as a whole, how do I like them and how do I not like them? Well, first off, it's all a matter of execution. Like, if you're going to have an antagonist to our protagonists that are essentially the polar opposite of them, you gotta take it and you gotta go the right way with it, which is, it sounds kind of cryptic to say right there, but honestly, it's hard to describe how. Like, the closest example I can honestly kind of think of is Ryuki. When, you have the rider versus rider conflict here, where everyone's fighting and the last one standing will obtain a wish. Why in Ryuki it's kind of hit or miss is mainly due to the characters. But in somewhere like Zero, and even after Ryuki, where there's rider versus rider conflict, they're short-lasted or whatever because, well, just inner conflict or whatever, where there's no reason for riders to be fighting each other. But when you get something like 01, it's honestly much better because there's an actual consensus of who are the good guys and who are the bad guys. And no one's just fighting each other just for the sake of fighting each other. It's like, you have the good guys over here, like Hidden Intelligence and Ames, and while they do disagree with a few things, the bigger threats are still Metsubo Jinrai and whatnot. That honestly makes sense. It's not anyone just fighting with each other just for no real reason at all, or stupidity. And, well, that's really, pretty much that. Dark Riders are much better when you know they're the bad guys, and they're not just some, honestly, when they're not just some anti-hero or whatever. And so, what are some good examples of them, which actually have listed out? But I kind of want to start off with the bad examples first, because they kind of became a bit tricky to list out, but are more interesting to me. So, the bad examples of Dark Riders. First one, just because it's so recent, KamenRider Storius. Storius as a whole from Saber, it's not just that I didn't like him as a character, I also didn't like him as a villain. And I also didn't think he was a good final villain, too. He's upset because he discovered... No, he's upset because he thinks everything is he thinks that Storius' whole thing... Spoilers, by the way, if you haven't seen Saber. Storius' big thing is that he thinks that everything is predetermined and set in stone. And when he found, all this knowledge and whatnot, he learned that everything was predetermined and set in stone. And if I learned that everything was just set in stone, I wouldn't try to destroy the world or anything, which would, by the way, not make it all predetermined and set in stone. I would have done... Basically, I just wouldn't have done what Storius did and try to destroy the world after thinking that nothing matters. And straight up, how many times in the show did the good guys, or specifically Toma, even show that the future is not set in stone, not everything is predetermined with all the new forms he got and whatever? It's just... Not even that. With Storius as a character, too, well, it's still adding on to him, but he was pathetic. Not a good villain, not a good final boss, just pathetic. And even after he was defeated, the world ended and whatnot, but whatever, blah, 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 he still died, and I didn't care. Just wasn't all that intriguing. He was he was like the intellectual one, but ugh. Just another thing from Saber that I didn't like. So, another example of a dark writer, Mad Rogue. Like, I'm currently watching Build right now, and I know when I'm literally closer right now to Mad Rogue becoming a thing. And, oh, which, by the way, while I am currently watching Build, I'm not going to talk about Evol at all. Like, I'm still rewatching the show as of recording this, and I want to give my full thoughts on him in the review. But with Mad Rogue, I don't mind talking about him. One, boo, you just took KamenRider Rogue's name and put Mad in front of it. And two, I don't know, at first he was just there, but he started becoming a bit more prevalent, but I don't know, just Mad Rogue's just one of those characters that are just, he spent too much time on the sidelines to matter. And once he becomes a writer, it's like, Then when Genius Form comes in, and I'm just thinking, okay, he should die in this episode because why does he matter? Why should I care? Like, I feel like he was just added on just to have like another antagonist writer, as if Evil wasn't all that powerful enough, which he is. Just kind of lame. Okay, the next one. Back to Saber with Kento when he was Caliber. Like, with Caliber as a whole, maybe. Actually, yeah, with Caliber as a whole, Kento's just the biggest example for me. Like, honestly, Saber is a much better show with Kento not there. Because, like, once he got killed off, the show got slightly more interesting, and some of the better episodes are the ones when he's not even in them. Like, he wants to steal everyone's swords away. Alright, if you do that, the villain still exists, and you ain't gonna be enough to just beat them yourself. Because before he even became Caliber, he just got his ass handed to him by the previous Caliber like it was nothing. And I think the thing of him, like, Kento and the other two guys that were Caliber, they were just weak, in my opinion. Kento was the weakest because he kept backsliding on any little progress, and he just did more and more of a hole for himself of not being a good guy and kind of shady. But the other two Calibers, let's be honest, the other two Calibers were at least idiots, where one got tricked by Solomon and the other one just went about things the wrong way. And honestly, I could say more in my Saber review if you guys want to go check that out. But yeah, with Kento as Caliber, no. Like, it's like he's the least of everything else's problems as Calibers. Hell, when Sophia became Caliber, I was just thinking, alright, sure. I'm alright with that. She doesn't entirely suck, so, fuck it. Let a woman take over. Like, she would probably do better than all three of them. Which, by the way, I like female writers. I'm not sounding sexist, so moving on. This is just another example of, when I was trying to list up some bad examples, I was really trying to find whatever could work. And the next one I got was all the three other writers from the Overkorzer movie. So that's Black X, The other two, the only one I can actually think of is Black Stress, but yeah, him and the other two from the Zio over Korser movie. It's like, with them, here's the thing about them too. Ideal-wise, they would have been much better villains for the actual show, but how they went about things in the movie and why they were trying to destroy everything to rewrite in a new era. They say that, I think the one guy, the leading guy, the one who's in charge, he said that the Heisei era was bumpy and hideous or something. Like, how I perceived it, it was like the movie was trying to put down the Heisei era and uplift the Showa era much more. But it didn't. It came off like that, and it came off as just offensive and rude, and honestly kind of condescending. And for a 20... Like, if you want to celebrate an anniversary at all, you don't do it by putting it down. Like, the movie was basically saying everything was better in the Showa era. When it really wasn't. But it's like, mind you, like, not like a 50th or 40th anniversary. I don't know what season number ZO is, but it was the 20th anniversary and the last season of the Heisei era. And for it to go out with this movie just putting it down, it didn't work. And it made me not like the movie. But now, for good examples, we're starting off at the very top with Shadow Moon, the very first. And there's still contention on him whether he's considered a writer or not. But, hey, literally in the Black Sun reboot, he is titled KamenRider Shadow Moon. So, fuck it, let's go off of that. But yeah, Shadow Moon, like I said before about being a polar opposite, Shadow Moon, aesthetically speaking, is a polar opposite to Black, like in the reverse of colors. And for how he went about it as a writer, he became the new head honcho for Gorgum. Not to mention, he fucked with Black's mental. He fucked with his mental quite a bit. He fucked with his mental literally in his sleep. And he just knew that at some point they were both going to have to fight, and someone was going to win and someone was going to lose. And Shadow Moon just laid up there saying, "You killed your best friend, and that's going to stay with you forever." Oh. Shadow Moon said, "I still win. Fuck you. Die like that." No. Shadow Moon was just I fucking love Black. I freaking like Shadow Moon. He was a savage. Like, in their first encounter, Shadow Moon won and offed him off like that. That's how awesome Shadow Moon was, man. Like, that's how a Dark Rider should be. If you're going to be a real antagonist and polar opposite to the main rider, you fuck with them how you can, and you make it work. You stand for what they're against, and you do it with reason behind it, and you back it up too. But next, sorry, for a moment my mind was thinking about Ryuki, but speaking of which, Oja. Now, like what I said about being a polar opposite of, like, the main writer and standing for everything that the main writer is against, that is Oja. For a good chunk of the show, he killed most of the writers off because, well, he was a criminal. He was a serial killer, and he just loved freaking anarchy, and that, like, he just loved freaking anarchy, and it was perfect. Like, most of the other writers on this show, they were either selfish or just bad people. Ojo is just evil, and he actually sped things up a bit. And, yeah, pretty much. Honestly, he's alright, powerful, he didn't need it. Anyway, sorry, I was just thinking about something for a moment within the show for Yuki, because Oja, one of the best characters, just, woo. I even liked it when he came back in that spinoff where it was him versus Brave and they fought. That was pretty cool. And he's still very gruesome. Alright, but next, another good example. Gold Drive. Like, from KamenRider Drive. I know I just geeked out like hell about Shadow Moon, but Gold Drive was honestly more evil than Shadow Moon. Because he was the start of everything. He created the Roymoots. He was Go and Kiriko's father. He was just all around an evil man who, once he got a body and everything, he still went about being an evil man, wanting to just destroy and take over the world. It's like, it was the first time, it's one of those, it's like, I want to say it's like the second time I ever fell in love appreciating a mad scientist. Like, Gold Drive just fucking did it for me. The next, next best example, Solomon from Saber. Freaking, it's Shinken Gold. But he is so twisted evil that it's amazing. Not to mention, he was the bad guy all along. He tricked Kento's dad, who was originally Caliber, and he tricked Kento's dad, who was originally Caliber. He is basically the reason and kind of the start. Well, the Megiddo are technically the reason for the start of the show. But Solomon, he just over time became more corrupt. And when his time came, he took it. He showed how powerful he was. Once he got his own powers, he showed how even more powerful and crazy he was. And oh my god, he was just a disturbing type of evil. And it was, it grossed me out. It really grossed me out for one scene where you kind of saw saliva out of his mouth. Oh god, he's that uncomfortable type of evil. Like, and here's the weird thing too. A lot of people crap on, I don't know the actor's name, but a lot of people crap on Solomon for his performance. And I'm just sitting here thinking, why? This dude, he puts on a good performance. He's a psychotic kind of evil that I'm personally terrified of, and I like that. That's sweet to me. Not to mention, he was honestly the best villain in the show because he wasn't boring, he wasn't generic. He had a plan and just went with it. And if anyone was against them, he didn't mind saying, fuck him. Because I'm pretty sure, like, when Durandal and Sabella decided to turn on him, and they said, we're going to behead you, Solomon looks at Durandal face to face, and he says, hey, weren't you going to behead me? Bye-bye. It's just, Solomon's awesome. He's awesome. Awesome. And one of the best characters from Saber. Alright, next. Last example of the good is Kronos. To which, it's been a long time since I've seen X-Aid, but I still remember how twisted he was. And I like the twist they gave for him for why he's evil. One, he's a businessman, and so he turns it on his head and just goes about like he's a businessman, but he turns it on his head like he's mixing business with his more darker personality. And it's like, huh. I'd say it's been a long time since I've watched X8, so I'm trying to give a good enough description as I can. But yeah, he was sweet. He was just pretty awesome. God, I want to watch X8. I want to rewatch X8 at some point. It's a good show. It's a very good show. But yeah, those are just some of my favorite examples of just good writers. And of course, I just gave some examples of some of my least favorite, like, dark writers, and gave reason as to why. Because the same rule applies for if you're going to be a supervillain, give reason as to why, and go about it how you want to, but hope you just go about it in the right way for when good turns bad. Because next I actually want to go. There are actually a couple more examples I want to talk about. They're going to lead into when good turns over to bad, and when bad turns over to good, or actually not even bad turning over to good. Just examples of like if dark writers or whatnot switch sides, basically. I don't know what I just said. I just rambled for a moment. Sorry. Anywho, with dark writers, because they do have a thing where they sometimes turn over to good. There are some good examples, and sometimes there are some not good examples. I think the best example to this day, which I don't think anything else could try to top it. Maybe they could, maybe they won't, I don't know. It would have to be with the writers that were part of Metsubo Jinrai, because it's a show where all of the villains in that show, except for the arc, survived till the end. Yeah, a couple of them died at first, but you get what I mean. Like, at the very end of the show, almost all of the villains and whatnot, almost all the characters and whatnot from 01, except for Izu and, well, she got rebuilt, but once again, you know what I mean. Like, 01 is a show where, honestly, where most of the villains survived at the very end. And to be fair, Metsubo Jinrai, they weren't complex villains. Well, they were complex villains, but like, they thought humans were beneath them and they shouldn't rule the world. And to be fair, Guy Thouser is the reason why why Metsubo Jinrai exists and whatnot. So they weren't off on their examples, but really, it was just all a matter of, well, why I like Metsubo Jinrai and the conflict and whatnot within 01 is because it was all a matter of ideologies. Like, if we could get along, and everyone just had their own thoughts of, we could get along. No, we should be the ones to rule you. No, human gears are bad. And no, human gears are just tools. All conflicting thought processes. And at the end, it just comes down to, we can all try to get along. Like, there are bad people out there, but there are also so good people out there. That's just life. The world's not black or white, it's gray. That's the best way to describe it. And that's the only example I can think of for dark writers turning good. But I'm talking about good turnover, but for bad turnover, like bad guys turning good, specifically for writers, yeah, Thouser. Like, Thouser, he didn't cut it. He did not cut it. Like, yeah, I know people want to blame COVID for blah. I don't care, but still, for what we got, honestly, don't even. Sometimes I honestly don't even think Guy needed to be redeemed, because hell, even when he switched sides, he really didn't even do that much to require a redemption. It's just that he realized he went about things the wrong way. After spending like the last few episodes, just actually since he came on being a straight up psycho, it's like he didn't do much, and he should have done much. Like, honestly, I haven't said this before in my 01 review. If Guy had created 02, that would have been a good way to... It would be a good step towards redemption, giving the main writer his final form. But instead, he didn't do much. Like, that's the thing too. Guy was a great villain, but I don't know. Like, with how there are either two options they could have taken. They could have either gave him a real redemption arc or just kill him off. And honestly, I don't think me or anyone else would have minded if he was killed off, because, well, at a certain point, he just gets his ass handed to him by almost anyone. So, at that point, it would just take mercy on him, if I'm being fully honest. But next, another bad example of bad turning good, Durandal and Sabella. Like, I do not know. Like, when I watched the episode where they decided, oh, Solomon's fucking terrible, we shouldn't side with him anymore, so let's fight against him. Like, how? You've been working with him for how long, and you're now realizing that he wants to, well, destroy the fucking planet and shit? Like, he just made a request for people to try to kill each other. He tried to create a purge, and you're now realizing this guy's a bit fucked up. We shouldn't work with him anymore. Like, bruh. How are you now realizing that from him? It's just... And do it. Like, evil writers in general, or just dark writers... Maybe, yeah, with dark writers... Yeah, this video is about dark writers, but now I can also talk about writers who are just evil. Like, they don't... It's all a matter of how you do things and go about it. Because if, like Durandal and Sabella, if you fight and work alongside someone like Solomon because of tradition or such, then that's good because you can actually work with it. With Sabella, she was actually an interesting character because she was, well, a manipulator. She twisted words around and made she made like the North base straight up turn against Toma just like that. Like, that's actually sweet right there. But afterwards, she was there. Sorry. And like I said, it's all a matter of execution. Like, if you're going to be evil, if you're going to be evil... I've been rambling on for so long. Like, if you're going to be evil, we have to see why you're evil, give reason as to why. Is it compelling? It should be, because then I would like you a lot more, and just show me your twisted side, basically. But, yeah, pretty much. That's what I have to say about Dark Riders. I honestly thought this video would have been like 14 or so minutes. I went off for I'm going on now 30. Whew. I got to get dressed and whatnot. But thank you guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, share this video, and tell your friends about KamenRider Blackman. I will see you guys next time. Peace.